So this is a technique that has helped me a lot on this journey of retention and of quitting porn addiction and getting rid of these bad habits. It's only something that I've learned recently. What we want to do with this breathing technique is we want to pull that energy upward. You know, you can kind of visualize that it's going on like a loop. Started guided meditation, one of the first basic types of meditations. They always say just focus on the breath, focus on the inhale and the exhale, right? I have found that this really helps. Of course, whenever you're facing urges, but also I try and do it in the morning and then just throughout the day, just constantly be breathing, because it's like it's creating space for all that energy that you're retaining. It's like you're creating your space in your body to hold it. So this is a technique that has helped me a lot on this journey of retention and of quitting porn addiction and getting rid of these bad habits. It's only something that I've learned recently, but when you retain your energy, when you're not releasing, when you're not nutting all the time and you're just holding all that in, you get very tense. You feel like a lot of energy, a lot of pressure, a lot of buildup, because you're so used to just letting it out like every day, multiple times a day, and you don't know what to do with it, and you don't know what to do with yourself when you are just retaining all of that within you. So I want you to think about it like all of that sexual energy, all of that drive is being retained, and it's kind of just sitting there in like your lower centers, right? We'll think of it like that's like the root of your body. It's like in the root of your body in this area right here around your genital region, right? But what we want to do with this breathing technique is we want to pull that energy upward. You know, you can kind of visualize that it's going on like a loop. It's like we're breathing in, and I'll explain how to do it in detail in a second, but basically you're breathing in on the inhale. You're allowing all the energy to kind of go up your spine, you know, up your spine all the way to the top of your head. And then on the exhale, you're kind of letting it fall back down, and it centers maybe around your belly button. If you're into like the chakras and stuff, this would be like the sacral chakra area, your sexual center, creative center, all that. So we're kind of orbiting the energy. I've heard some people call this the microcosmic orbit. I don't know too much about the metaphysical, spiritual implications of it. I'm still learning more about that. But just from a psychological standpoint, I think bringing your awareness up and down your body, it's like a body scan during meditation. It helps you to kind of ground yourself when you're getting really strong urges and thoughts about going back to your addiction, going back to that bad habit, releasing your seed, releasing your energy to some pixels on a screen, some stuff that deep down you know you don't want to do. This is really powerful. And this isn't just an emergency thing, right? You don't just want to do this when the urges hit. You really want to be breathing like this and deeply breathing throughout the day, because we're always in like this shallow breathing, like hunched over, chest compressed type of mode. And then you can't really get much oxygen, and then you feel more tense and you can't really breathe. So we want to relax. We want to fix our posture, sit up straight, nice and tall, and we want to breathe in deep through the diaphragm right here. This is about right underneath the rib cage, and we want to breathe in. You want to think about it like a 360. So you could put your hands like right under the ribs right here, and we want to think about it's going out. Okay, so it's expanding this 360, and then we can. And then what I used to do, the mistake is that when doing this little orbit and kind of bringing my awareness up, I would try and breathe like upward. You know, I try and breathe like I'm pulling the air up, but then that leads to just breathing in like the top of the lungs, and it's more shallow breathing, but we want to breathe through the diaphragm. So we want to just expand in this 360 type of way, and then let the air in the top of the lungs naturally fill up on its own without like forcing it upward, you know, so it's just going to be a relaxed. And then you naturally feel the lungs up here filling up, and then you can, and that's when kind of your awareness comes back down. If you want, you can kind of get like a stick or just use your hand and just kind of like run your hand up your spine and then like back down, just to kind of get a sense for it, like a somatic type of exercise. But again, whenever you're feeling those strong urges, or even just first thing in the morning, if you're meditating, like really, if you're on this journey of retention and you are in it for all sorts of benefits and to benefit your own life and to be healthier, you want to learn to circulate that energy. People talk about to transmute that energy and use it to go to the gym, use it to be creative and build a business, use it to go and actually talk to women and meet people. You know, all that energy, all that drive, you have literally more testosterone in your body, you literally have more energy. And it's like, you want to use that, but how can we use it if it's always getting stuck in the lower centers, right? Because we've trained our brains and our bodies to just have it get stuck, and then again we get this tense, shallow breathing and everything, and then just release it. So we want to instead just have it flowing in this orbit, and it just kind of naturally starts going on its own, and you're just kind of subconsciously doing it because you're going to start to get used to this deep breathing. And we want to be deep breathing all the time because that gets us into the parasympathetic nervous system, that gets us into the rest and digest state. We don't want to be fight or flight all the time. That's not healthy for our bodies. Our bodies are constantly stressed out, we're constantly anxious, overstimulated, we can't focus. We want to be majority of the time in rest and digest mode, parasympathetic nervous system. We just want to relax, and deep breathing helps you do that. It's like if you've ever started guided meditation, one of the first basic types of meditations, they always say just focus on the breath, focus on the inhale and the exhale, right? That's a good overview. I don't want to get too deep into the nuances of it because they're, in my opinion, not really that important. You know, people will talk about from like a Taoism, Qigong, like Chinese medicine perspective, like metaphysical, spiritual stuff. Again, that's not really something I'm too familiar with right now. That's some stuff I'm still, you know, trying to understand myself. But just from a physical, neurological, psychological standpoint, I have found that this really helps. Of course, whenever you're facing urges, but also I try and do it in the morning, and then just throughout the day, just constantly be breathing, because it's like it's creating space for all that energy that you're retaining. It's like you're creating your space in your body to hold it, right? It's like you're going Super Saiyan Blue. I kind of talked about it in the previous video, where it's like when Goku and Vegeta need to go Super Saiyan Blue, they needed to learn to contain all that energy. They had all this Super Saiyan God-like power in them, but they couldn't control it, they couldn't handle it. It was not until they learned to calm down, to be in that rest and digest state, that they could let the energy flow through them without it leaking out, without them needing to get rid of it. So let's go ahead and take a few breaths here to end the video, just so you can get a feel for the exercise. So sit down, lie down, stand up, it doesn't really matter. Just get into a position that's comfortable for you. And again, we want to breathe through the diaphragm. Again, feel like right below your rib cage. And I just do this just to kind of visualize the 360 expansion, because your diaphragm and everything also goes around your whole body. It's not just breathing in the front, it's breathing everywhere, right? Your lungs expand in sort of a 360 dimension, or a 360 degrees. So let's take a few deep breaths again into this diaphragm area at 360. And you might not be able to fill up the lungs all at once. You might not be used to it, getting this deep breath, and that's okay. Just go as deep as you can, and we'll do 2 more here. And already you might be able to feel slightly more calmness. You know, this is also great for when you're overthinking and you're stuck in your head and you just need to relax a little bit. Bring your awareness away from all those thoughts and back to your breath, back to your body, back to the present moment. And it just helps you calm down for a few moments. Just take a few deep breaths, and it just calms your whole body and allows everything to start flowing again. You're not getting stuck on the thoughts. You're not getting stuck on these cravings or this energy that's building up and feeling tense and not knowing what to do with it. You're creating space for it to flow through you, so then you can transmute it and use it, this drive, this energy. You can use it to do something with your life. You can use it to build your life that you want to live. You can use it to work on your business, to work on your job, to go out and actually socialize and meet people, to learn a new skill, a new hobby, learn a new language, you know, go to the gym and have a great workout, build your dream body. There's so much you can do when you stop watching porn and when you stop wasting all your time and your energy on doom scrolling and on just mindless activity, really. This is really a mindful activity, this breathing exercise. And obviously all I was talking about was just the basic deep breaths, but then I touched a bit on the orbit, the microcosmic orbit, where you're just kind of pulling your energy up into the brain. You could also just exhale and just kind of just let it go there. But if you want, you could also bring it back down so it's like a full loop and it's circulating. And we can do a few breaths like that. What we want to do is just continue our regular deep breathing that we're doing, but then we also want to not really even visualize in our mind, but try and feel it in your body. Try and bring your awareness to it. So we're breathing into the diaphragm, yes, but as we're taking that breath, try and feel into your genitals area, that root that I was talking about, and try and feel, you might imagine it in your head a little bit, and that's okay, but just try and feel, through your awareness, just the energy kind of building up. Almost treat it as if you're breathing through your testicles, and then all that oxygen, all that energy is then being lifted up on the inhale. Then on the exhale is where it all just kind of flows down and then out to the rest of your body. So let's try 5 breaths of that, okay? Remember, breathing in through your testicles is how we're kind of visualizing it, or through your genitals, because this is not just a male only exercise, although I imagine there's more men watching this video than women, but ladies, if you're here, thank you. This is very beneficial for you too. So let's just breathe in through that root, the genitals. And again, you might not feel anything at first. It might be weird. It might be different. That's okay. Just try your best. Over time, you're going to get more used to it. And as you go longer and longer retaining, you're going to have more energy built up, and you're going to feel more of this somatically, like physically. You'll be able to feel it moving up your spine and then down throughout your body, just bringing your mental awareness. You're rebuilding that mind-body connection. And as you do this, try and just let your mind relax. Don't think too much about doing it perfectly. Just feel it and just observe your body and observe your breath and how it feels, and don't judge it as good or bad. Don't label it. Just let it be what it is. And we'll do 2 more of these breaths. And last one here. One thing that helps me is moving my eyes. I heard this from someone else where, when you're doing the inhale, kind of bring your eyes like up, like your eyes are following the energy upward. And then as you exhale, bring your eyes back down. It's just rebuilding this mind-body connection, this mind-muscle connection, bringing our awareness back to our bodies. Because what happens is when we're constantly watching porn, what we're doing is we're outsourcing our pleasure. We're outsourcing our sensuality and our sexuality to the screen and to the video. And we're just becoming a passive observer. We're just becoming a consumer instead of a creator. We're not being an active participant in the act, which is we're naturally supposed to be active participants in sex or sexual activity. We're not supposed to be passive observers. That's not how we're naturally wired. So what happens is you start outsourcing your pleasure and you almost kind of dissociate. And it's like you can't really feel pleasure in your body anymore. You can only feel it in your head as you watch the video. And then it's like when you actually go and try to have sex, now it's like, okay, well, you can't get it up, or you can't really get aroused because you've trained your body to just not even be active. Basically, your body's just kind of limp and just sitting there as you consume, and all the pleasure is just hitting you in your head. It's directly from the pixels to your brain. And then it's just telling your body, okay, now we're stimulated from the video. Now it's time to just release as soon as possible. And that's the habit that we're building. And so we lose this mind-body connection, this mind-muscle connection. And you can't really get aroused so much from like real life, or you can't really get aroused so much from a physical touch or intimacy or anything, because you've trained your body to not even need that anymore in order to get off. You've trained your body and your brain to bypass that essentially, and just again outsource all of that work to the performers on the screen or whatever you're looking at. And so this exercise helps you to return to your body. It helps you to return to physical sensation. At first you might not feel anything, but you keep going with retaining and you practice this every day or almost every day. Pretty soon you're gonna start to feel like, oh, I can feel all this sexual energy like building up, and now it's circulating through me, and it feels very vivid and very powerful. And then this is how you start to get into these non-ejaculatory orgasms, these full body orgasms that, yes, even as a guy, you can have a full body orgasm, non-ejaculatory orgasm. That's not what this video is about, but this is the beginnings of that, because now we're circulating all that sexual energy around. And then when we're aroused, when we're with a partner, when we're by ourselves, now that's aroused sexual energy that's even more potent and powerful, and that horny energy. And now we're moving it, that awareness and that feeling, throughout our whole body, because we rebuilt that mind-body connection. And now we're just experiencing a whole new level of pleasure that something like porn can never give you, something like pixels on the screen can never give you. So I hope this video was useful to you. I would recommend you try and do this breathing technique every day, at least like 5 to 10 breaths as a bare minimum, just to get used to deep breathing. Pretty soon, deep breathing will become natural to you, and it'll become your new normal way of breathing, and you're gonna get so much more oxygen, you're gonna feel so much more relaxed and calm, and all these things in life are just gonna become so much easier because you're literally just getting more air, right? We need air to survive. We can only go like a few seconds or a few minutes without air, so more air is good for you, and it will just help you physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, sexually, of course, as we discussed, in all these areas. And let me know in the comments if you want a full, just guided breathwork video. We could just kind of like I have the guided meditation videos, we could do a full guided breathwork video if you guys want that. But thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.